right, welcome back. With me here is Dick Osala. He is a lawyer. We will be debunking the issue of BBI much further concerning the issue of additional 70 MPs and why we have not yet reached a consensus concerning this particular report. Welcome, Mr. Osala.
Thank you very much, Ms. Irene.
All right.
I'm happy to be with you here tonight.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure you have witnessed the ping-pong game between the political players, and in this case, I would love to mention ODM leader Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto concerning reaching a consensus concerning this BBI report. You have seen the Deputy President William Ruto come up with demands of what he wants in this particular report. Do you think there'll come a time whereby there'll be a consensus, or do you think the train has already left the station?
I think that we still have room for improvement. And when we discuss BBI and the ping-pong between Honorable Raila and Honorable Ruto, we should ask ourselves why we, in the first place, the issue of BBI came into play. And the issue of BBI came into play to solve the winner-take-it-all. That was the main issue about BBI. And when the BBI report was launched, Honorable William Ruto raised some of very legit questions, questions that Kenyans should have taken very seriously, and the discussion should have taken those lines. But it seems that we have dishonest kind of discussion where people are more interested on what they will get rather than what is good for the public. Yes. But
there has been that particular question. Is there room for change, or this report will go as is?
You see, when this type of a referendum, it has stages for us to get to a point where we are now at a point of referendum. It's about 7 stages in summary. Okay. Right now, we are in stage 1. Okay. So stage 1 basically is for the promoters of you see, promoters of that BBI, meaning it can be a referendum through a popular initiative. So a popular initiative is under Article 257. So under popular initiative, the first step is for the promoters to collect signatures and present them to the IEBC. And then the IEBC is supposed to verify those signatures. And they are supposed to reduce their suggestions into a document, which they did. They already have reduced them into a bill, amendment bill. So that is stage 1. They have reduced that, and they're in the process of collecting signatures to present to the IEBC. So there are other steps here in between, which includes, after they have done that, the IEBC will verify those signatures. Then the IEBC will forward the document after verifying to the county assemblies. Again, the county assemblies will have a discussion on it. What should we include, what should we not include? So they will either amend or pass it as is? Yes, the reason why it is being taken there is for them to have a discussion on it. Okay. Yes, so when they have it, they can say, this and this is good, let's remove this. Once the county assemblies is done with it, they are going to be writing a report to, signing a certificate that they are done with it and forward it to the speakers of the parliament. That is the Senate Speaker and the National Assembly Speaker. Now, the Senate and the National Assembly are supposed again to discuss that particular document, what has been brought to them. They discuss it again, they agree and disagree on issues on it. So once they have discussed it, if issues that have been raised in those documents touches on items that are mentioned under Article 256, which is whether the structure of the government, the boundaries, then they are supposed to present it now for the referendum. That is when now Kenyans come in to whether agree with that process, whether what the MCAs did, what the members of parliament have done. So it is at that point where now we are now going to say we agree as Kenyans or we disagree. But at this point, we are in stage 1. Those are about 7 steps. So it is too early to say that the bus has left.
But why do you think ODM leader Raila Odinga has been quite adamant, saying that there is no room for change? You guys take it as it is or leave it be?
I can't answer for him because for me, I know that there is still room. Whatever is provided under the law, there is still room for discussion. And that's why that thing has to go through the county assemblies, it has to go through the parliament. It does not just go there for the members of parliament to see it just like that.
All right.
It is going there for them to discuss, to disagree and agree on issues on it.
All right.
Yes.
Now, there has been the issue of 70 additional MPs in this particular report to solve the issue of two-third gender role. This thing has been termed by many as something that will be quite a huge wage bill to Kenyans. And you as a lawyer, you had come up with a proposal on how this thing can be cured. Could you kindly elaborate on that?
Thank you. Miss Irene, I've been wrong on so many things. And in my considered view, I might be wrong, but adding 70 constituencies is not the solution for the two-thirds gender rule. Actually, what we need as Kenyans to solve this problem is to reduce the number of constituencies to 150.
Okay.
Once we've reduced the number of constituencies to 150.
From 290.
From 290 to 150.
All right.
Once it is reduced, then instead of calling these people member of parliament, we should now call them representatives. And in each constituency, we should have 2 people on 1 ticket, a man and a woman. So when we have this 150 constituency, at the end of it all, we will have 300 representatives. These 300 representatives, you will realize that 150 of them will be women, 150 of them will be men. Now, what PBI is proposing, this is what, now it is good to understand what PBI is proposing and what is actually the right direction to take. PBI is saying that we should add those constituencies so that we have at least 360 constituencies. Once you have 360 constituencies, again, the proposal in this amendment says that there should be special seats which will be filled when the two-thirds gender rule is not realized. Now, let's take it, for example, that the 360 members of parliament, all of them are men.
Okay.
It means for these people to realize two-thirds gender rule, you will have to nominate 180 women.
Yeah.
That will come to
400.
540 members of parliament. You tell me, under this economy, how will we sustain such a huge number of members of parliament? So for me, the discussion surrounding whether to increase or not to increase the number of constituencies, there's been a lot of dishonesty, and we should come clean and tell Kenyans what can really solve this problem.
All right, you're talking about reducing the number of constituency from 290 to 150. But looking at it, remembering when the Electoral Commission then did a boundary review to bring us to 290, is because some of the constituency complained that they're not getting enough resources. It is one constituency is too big. Do you think reducing them to 150 might create a room for strife? Because even as it is right now, we are fighting over resources. So if we have a 150 constituency, then the fight will be even more, because some of the constituency will be quite large. Have you really put this into concern or perspective?
I have considered that argument, and my response is this. First, members of parliament, which I'm proposing, should not be called member of parliament. They should be called the constituency representatives. They should understand what a role of a member of parliament is. And once they understand that, there will be no this discussion of we are not getting resources, because a member of parliament basically is supposed to legislate, oversight, and all that. What they are now proposing, you see, they had initially proposes the county development fund.
Yeah.
And that is where the contention usually is.
Yeah,
because if you reduce, it means that we will not be getting the county development fund. So the first direction to take, one, county development funds, constituency development funds and ward development funds should be considered to one thing. Then they should be placed under the county assembly members. So the MCAs should be the ones to manage them now. Okay. Yeah, so it should be narrowed down to MCAs. That way, every Kenyan in every corner of this country will be able to feel the development aspect of it. So what the MPs should actually be given, the role they should be given in issues of that fund, is to oversight. They should be, because there will be 2 representatives in the constituencies. So those 2 representatives, they should oversight that fund within that constituency. So their work will be like they are checking, you've been given this work, are you doing the work? Are you doing the work? But it should not be that we are having a constituency development fund. Again, we are having another parallel ward development fund. It is what creates this tension of people fearing to reduce the number of constituencies. But if these 2 funds were to be consolidated to be one fund placed under the members of county assemblies, then we will not have this problem.
All right.
Yes.
But now, what will be the criteria for reducing this number of constituency from 290 to 150? Because as it is, even adding this 70, it has brought a lot of contention. Some counties, for example, Nakuru County is saying, oh, Naivasha should be split into 2. What will be then the criteria of reducing the number of constituency here in the country?
The Constitution gives the IBC guidelines on how to subdivide or merge constituencies. It is a mandate under the IBC. So they are supposed to consider things like geographical area, the population. So the thing is, it is their work now to balance this 150. How they balance it, the Constitution has already indicated the things that they should consider. One of them is population, of course, area and all that, and how developed an area is. So those are the things that they will have to consider, that it is there already in the Constitution. So it's just for them to look at this. You know, when you're now, it's like you're now subdividing the country again. Now you have to balance it. It's a basic maths. Yes, once you know how many people are here, how many people are here, you now balance it. But what is important is that the members of parliament should understand their role. Their role is in the parliament to legislate. Actually, I will be now calling them the constituency representatives, because some people argued that what I'm proposing again will bring conflict on who has the authority over constituency. So my response to that is, I will give a very basic example. When most of us were in primary schools, we had a monitor. We used to call the female one a monitor, and the other one we used to call a prefect. These people used to work in a class as the head of that class, and they could do both roles. They could help teachers get books or what. They could collect books from students. So once you know your role, the thing is knowing your role. So as a member of parliament, what is your role? Are you able to understand your role? Why are you coming back about the Constituency Development Fund? Understand your role to legislate. Secondly, you need to understand that when people are so many in parliament, the quality of debate there becomes useless, because it becomes too bad. Imagine a room where there are 500 people, all of them, they want to talk on one subject. Either way, it will be poor quality debate, you understand? So when we have few people, everyone gets to contribute, you understand? So when finally we have a law, it is a law that has been well thought of, it's a law that has been well debated, and it's a law that addresses the concerns of the citizens.
But now my next question to you will be, what about voting? When it comes to, you know, in parliament there is voting of certain bills. If, for example, we say we are in Ruiru constituency, it has a male and a women representative. What happens when they want to vote concerning a bill? The man is saying this, the woman is saying that. How will then will they be able to agree, since each constituency is given a single vote?
No, I said once we have elected these people, all of them should have equal powers, whether it is voting. They are members of parliament. They are representatives. Now they are constituency representatives. It is okay to disagree. In a democracy, people should disagree. You cannot imagine that a whole constituency, only one person is thinking what the whole constituency is thinking. When probably the woman is disagreeing, it means that there is a sector of that constituency that is disagreeing. And it is good that all that is presented there, so that when we vote, it will be 300 members of parliament voting.
But you see, when we look into the structure of the legislative house,
yes,
in parliament, each constituency, when you say the member of parliament for Ruiru is representing the Ruiru constituents in parliament. Now, when we're having two, we cannot split Ruiru into two, right? Because it is a single constituency. Therefore, each constituency is given a single vote. What happens when they disagree? Because this vote cannot be split, and they'll have to agree. Why would you want them to seem as they're going there as 300 instead of seeing they are going there, looking at the number of constituency in terms of voting?
You see, when you legislate, you are not legislating for your constituency. You are legislating for the whole nation. That's one thing people don't understand. You don't want to go there to legislate as a member of Riuri or a member of whatever. You go there and you are legislating for the nation. And when legislating for the nation, the interest of the nation should be the first thing that comes into your mind. And the reason why I'm saying the issue of which vote, whether it is a single vote or two votes, should not arise, is because when you treat each member of parliament now, because it is a woman and a man, all of them, you give them the same powers, and they vote on an issue. I don't see why one vote should be considered lesser than the other. Whether you are a man or a woman, your vote should speak the same volume in terms of what it says in parliament. So I don't think that should be an issue.
You see, why I'm saying it will be an issue,
Yes.
if you remember the contentious issue at the Senate, whereby we had, in case, when the 4 senators were arrested, in case we're having the senator is not there, then they choose a delegate from the delegate of, let's say, Kiambu County, which is treated as a single vote. Therefore, whatever you're proposing, is it going against the structure that is happening right now in both the National Assembly and the Senate?
Maybe another way to address that problem would be, you see, this is something that is going for a referendum. And it entails amending the articles of the Constitution. So one of the things that can be amended so that this particular proposal works is that each constituency will have 2 votes.
Or
so
2 votes, maybe.
So that is solved. So it's not an issue, so that we remain with quality work. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Now, concerning that, now let's look at the report itself right now. If we pass the issue of having 70 more constituency, how do you think the country will be able to handle that particular wage bill? Because remember, also the funds that are going to the county are increasing from 15% to that 5%. Looking at the economy, how are we being able to carry this particular wage bill?
2 issues there. First, I have a problem with transferring more funds to the county government. And I have an issue with it in this regard. What should be done is devolving more functions. Once you devolve more functions,
The
money
resources.
should follow. You understand?
Right.
Now, this is what I'll give you another basic example. You are in a house. You have your partner in the house, and maybe partner A, the role of partner A is to buy food and pay maybe the electricity bill. Then the role of partner B is maybe to buy utensils in the house. Then partner B tells partner A, add me more money. You see, you should only tell me that, give me the role of buying electricity, then you will send me the funds to buy those electricity.
But the issue is that the money as it is not enough.
It is not.
With the current function,
Yes.
the money was not enough.
The issue is not about whether the money is enough. The issue is about what functions are the money being used in.
Right now, we are looking at health.
Yes.
The counties are complaining. They're
Yes.
not being able to pay the doctors. They have a lot in their table at the moment. And the money that they're receiving from the national government is not enough for them. So as it is, raising it from 15 to 35 is because of their cries, not because they need more functions. The money they're having right now is not quite enough.
You see, in this country, there's what we call a budget. And every year there's a budget. And the government knows how many doctors are there, how many nurses are there, and how are they supposed to be paid. That's why they do that budget. So it means that if that budget normally does not cater for the doctors and all nurses, it means that the person who is in charge of budget should revisit his strategy. So that when you have a family of 5, you're supposed to know how many, the amount of water you have to put for ugali, all those things. So it is a question of budgeting.
All right.
If you budget properly with the little you have, everyone will be fine.
All right. right.
Yes.
Okay, that is really a contentious issue which cannot really be agreed on. But now,
Yes,
I would
of
love
course, it is debatable.
It is quite debatable.
Yes.
Now, moving to the issue of having 70 MPs, looking into the benefit that comes with them, the salary that they receive, the issue of getting car grants. Will we be able to handle 70 MPs at this particular time?
For me, I cannot argue I cannot argue for more constituencies because it's going to be a burden, and that's why I'm giving an alternative. I'm not just saying I don't want it. I'm saying it is not going to solve our problem. It is going to add more problem. It is like you are asking for a loan to pay for a loan, and maybe the interests are different. The later on, the interest is even much higher. So you're going to get yourself into more trouble. So that's why I'm saying, instead of adding these constituencies, we should actually reduce them. Yes.
All right. Now, looking at the issue of two-third gender rule, some political parties have argued that even when in the process of making the 2010 constitution, the issue of two-third gender rule was not quite well thought out, because right now, 10 years later, we are struggling with the same issue. Do you think the makers or the drafters of the 2010 constitution refused or were not clear to give us a clear guideline concerning this particular provision in the constitution?
I think they meant well. Maybe, you see, the problem that Kenya has had is that instead of first having a policy, then developing a policy into a law, Kenya has been having laws, they just copy-paste from another jurisdiction, then they now work with, they start formulating policies from that law, going back, while it should be the other way around. You should have the policy, then develop it into a law. For instance, we are supposed to have had a policy in place on how to address the issue of gender, then we advance it into a law. So that is what has been the challenge. But that's why I'm telling you, even if that is the challenge, if you want to address it, can they reduce the number of constituencies to 150? Have in every constituency 2 people in 1 ticket? By the end of the day, you will have 300 members of parliament. 150 of them will be women. There will be nothing like, I'm nominating my girlfriend to be a member of parliament or anything.
All right.
Yes.
So this particular proposal that you are initiating, have you thought of presenting it to the National Assembly or at the Senate, of course, to see whether they will quite adopt your proposal?
This proposal, I've only been able to discuss them with a few politicians. We've discussed them, and to them they agree that, but the only problem they say, this is a political movement, you know, they might agree with the proposals,
but political goodwill,
but the political will might be against the proposal. But for me, that is not even a problem.
What's the problem? Because
the solution is not on those MPs agreeing or not agreeing. The solution is for Kenyans to understand what is really happening, and then they also need to understand what they need to do. So if they say that we want to reduce those constituencies, it means that they are going to say no when it comes to the issue of constituency, because they know what they want. So for me, the most important thing is that Kenyans should be educated on these issues. They should be informed, so that when you vote, you are an informed voter. Yes. You don't just vote because person A said it is okay. Yes.
But reading the signs, I know we are in the first stage of this particular constitutional change. Do you think Kenyans will pass the issue of additional 70 MPs reading the process? Because now you're seeing the politicians take the center stage. We are not seeing civic education being done on the same. Of course, I don't want to judge the process. It is just but starting. But do you foresee a situation where Kenyans might be hoodwinked into passing this particular proposal as is?
For me, if proper civic education was to be conducted and Kenyans were to be informed on the proposals and what we have, and the consequences of passing that proposals, I have a strong belief that they would say no. And the only problem is that we may not have mechanisms to inform all Kenyans now.
Yeah.
Yes. But we must try. That's what I always say. We must always try. Inform as much as you can, then people will decide.
All right.
Yes.
But now, what will be your strategy moving forward? Of course, you have mentioned that political goodwill might not really be something that might happen. So what will be your strategy moving forward to ensure that this proposal that you have is not, you know, laid back, so to speak?
You see, for me, the most important that we start this discussion so that Kenyans can start talking about this discussion. Honorable Ruto began it, but I think he has been pained and is now withdrawing. But even if he is withdrawing, for some of us, we are not withdrawing.
All right.
We are going to keep on with the conversation. We are going to tell the truth as it is. And you see, for me, I am not just saying that we should vote no.
Yeah.
I have about 10 proposals, the alternatives of what has been given.
All right.
For example, I have issues with the executive structure, the way it has been proposed. You see, the reason, as I said earlier, the reason is we were supposed to address the winner-take-it-all scenario. Yeah. So when you read that amendment, it absolutely does not address that problem. And this is how that problem ought to have been addressed. Number one, in a presidential election, should automatically become the president. Number two, in that election, should automatically become the prime minister, but the constitution again should have to be amended so that the clear roles are given to that type of a prime minister.
But who will be the opposition leader?
Number three, yes, will be the opposition leader.
Why are we giving number two the position to be? What will be the essence of a competition?
We are addressing the problem of winner takes it all, remember? And the reason why we normally get divided is because when you are number two, number one will tell you have taken it all. So number two, we go opposition up.
But you see, even as we have number two be the prime minister, will we have solved the issue of a huge wage bill? Because right now they're saying they're saying there's no expansion of the executive because the majority leader in the National Assembly will be the prime minister, and therefore he'll be receiving the same salary. But now if we have number two become the prime minister, of course that will mean he'll be having a lot of benefits. There'll be a huge salary.
No. You see, whatever they are proposing for the current prime minister, I'm just saying the president should not appoint that prime minister. I'm saying that prime minister should be number two automatically.
Okay.
Yeah, so whatever they're providing for the prime minister in their proposal, is just fine. What I'm just saying, the president should not appoint that prime minister because, take for instance right now, the president appointed Honorable Matiang'i as the super CS.
Okay.
So in this proposal, Matiang'i is now like the prime minister. And you tell me, Matiang'i is already, let's say he's the prime minister, how has that unaddressed the problem? There will be still other people making noise. So for me, whatever they're proposing, the prime minister, if is to be appointed by the president, he will not have addressed the problem because the president only appoint someone who was supporting him.
But they were saying that they will form the office of the opposition leader. He will be in parliament, and therefore
it is good to have the opposition leader in parliament. That is a good idea. Even to have the minister in parliament. That's a good idea. It enhances the quality of the debate.
Yeah, right.
But to say that you will, the president will appoint the prime minister is actually against what we are trying to address. What we are trying to address is that the winner take it all. Unless you are telling me that the president will automatically appoint number two, then there's no problem. But for me, number two should be the president, the prime minister. Number three, the opposition leader. The functions can, we need some originality in whatever we are doing. The problem in Kenya is that we want to copy paste and apply. We need some originality so that other countries can also say, Kenya did this, let's do this.
All right.
Yes.
Now, do you think civil organization have really derailed the country or disappointed the country in terms of these changes? We have not seen them quite be bold concerning the BBI report, and for some, they have been silenced by some leaders who have told them, you guys did not present your proposal, time is up. Do you think the civil organization have failed in this particular change of the constitution? I
would not say that they have failed. I believe that they have faced their portion of challenges, and of course they should come out and try and educate Kenyans on what these proposals are about. That's the best they can do at this stage. Okay. Let Kenyans know. Just come out, do civic education, educate people, tell them what is this proposal, what are the consequences of them. That's why this particular document you cannot subject it to a yes or no. Because for me, there are things that are good, but there are things that need to be readdressed.
All right.
You understand?
That is something
and that brings me to the issue of Honorable Kivuta
Kibwana.
Kibwana.
Yeah, that's what I want to say.
He has presented legitimate questions in the Supreme Court of Kenya. You know, in a referendum, you're supposed to say no or yes. Now, let's say you've been told you have a right to life, then you're told you're supposed to be killed. They are in one document. You want to say, I just want the right to life. I don't want to be killed. And they want, you say yes or no.
Yeah.
If you say no, it means you're saying, I don't want the right to life.
Yeah.
If you say yes, it means you're saying, I want the right to
be killed.
So it brings some kind of confusion. That's why these things, it cannot be subject to a yes or no thing. It should be either on this issue. For example, we are saying the issue of executive structure. We are saying that there should be a prime minister on that. Do you agree or do you not agree? You should address that one. I agree or I disagree. Move to another about the ombudsman, which I again disagree to the extent that the judiciary ombudsman should be appointed by the Chief Justice, not the President. You understand? So for me, I want the judiciary ombudsman to be appointed by the Chief Justice. And what you are telling me is supposed to be appointed by the President.
Right.
Again, there you see it is already conflicting with my idea. This one I wanted, this one I don't want. So how will I say a yes to all of them or a no to all of them? Because if I say no, I'm meeting all of them. If I say yes, I'm including something that is against what I want.
My beliefs. I think that is really quite a concern there, and we do wish Honorable Kivuta Kibwana, Professor Kivuta Kibwana, all the best concerning that particular clarity from the Supreme Court, from the High Court. Now,
from the
Supreme Court?
Yes.
Yeah, we do wish him all the best. Now, what can be a parting shot concerning this particular issue as we wind up, because we are pressed on time?
The youths have been told that the proposals say that there will be a youth commission. Let me just educate youth that that youth commission will be composed of about a maximum of 7 members. Ask yourself, how many youths are there in Kenya? Will you all fit in the slot for 7 people? If that is the reason why you are being told to vote this document.
Right.
So before you vote this document, can you read the document?
All right.
Understand the document. And to some extent, I'm disappointed by those who are elite in this society. Those that have gone to school are not helping the society to understand this document. If you have gone to school, can you please read this document, explain it to your grandmother before you ask your grandmother to say and no or yes.
Okay.
First explain, make people understand. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Diko Sal, of course, for your perspective concerning the BBI issue. We do wish you all the best concerning the proposals that you're presenting in terms of changes in that particular report. All right, we are taking a short break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.